if I don't have control over that end product because I have to wait for something to come ahead of time, or I have to wait for permission to do something or some magic window, you're really limiting my ability to effectively hit that mark. Like I can't get creative anymore. I can't get innovative anymore. I have no adaptability. I just have to get the work done by that point, right?
Yeah.
So you put me in that environment, and not only have you stifled me by time, you've wasted a lot of my resource. And then what am I doing while I'm waiting, right? So there's this level of boredom, and then all of a sudden I'm drinking from a fire hose to try to get this thing done. So you as a manager to identify that and say, okay, what can we do about this process? Because this individual really has some real talent, but we're not doing them any favors. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh, it makes tremendous sense. But it does, but it almost begs like a bigger question, because what you're hinting on, when I heard of this was a couple of things. At the employee level, the two words that came to mind were agency and empowerment. How can you give this person agency, right? Some sense of ownership, and then empowerment, equip them to go do it. Okay, so that's great. But then you go into a big company, like anything over 3 billion in revenue. And my experience has been, once a company hits 3 billion, they morph from being a company into a government. And so then you've got bureaucracy. And the organizational structure du jour is a matrix organization, right? So we're going to be all matrix, which means exactly like you said, we're all going to have dotted lines to each other. So you're going to be relying on finance and this other department for anything that you want, and you've got to all kind of figure out how to do that. So it's tricky. It becomes tricky when we start to look at it through that lens, because it's like, but if you work in a big company, you're going to have some of these bureaucratic things. And so how do you as a manager and leader, I guess I'm coming to the answer that you're trying to get me to, I'm just slow, is that how do I run, and you used this word earlier, but how do I run interference? How do I run interference as the manager or leader to kind of cut through some of the frustration of this clunky process so my employee can feel a sense of agency, so they can feel a sense of empowerment? Right.
Well, I mean, honestly, the first thing you have to say is you can only control what you can control, which is fortunate and unfortunate, because it essentially gives us a rule set to play by, right? So if we know the rules and our employees know the rules, like of kind of pay to play and the like, then we know how we can navigate them. The best thing that a manager can do, really, like in terms of is really just to know, all right, can I change the environment a little bit to make this a more conducive situation so that this individual can hit the mark. Maybe it's add a little pressure, maybe it's subtract a little pressure, right? Maybe it's to put a little conflict into another team to get it done, right? As managers, if you know that, this employee is relying on other departments, well, you should have some kind of cross awareness or cross situational awareness of what's going on, to be able to go to those other people and say, hey man, we got to get this going.
Yeah.
I
love it. And I think even the simplest thing, the takeaway that I got, if I simplified it even more, I think one of the best things we can do as managers, just picking on that one point you just gave, was ask your employees, is there a process or something that's frustrating you that I should be aware of?
Right.
And what would it look like if it ran better, or what could I be doing to, it's kind of the stop, start, continue question. What could I be start doing to support you better? What could I stop doing that's getting in your way, or prevent something that's getting in your way? What could I continue doing that's working for you?
Right. And let me add a layer to that, if I will, Brandon. So you also have to be able to kind of, like, if you really get to know your employees in a room, and you start to see a pattern where that this specific employee is not afraid to ask a question like, what are we even doing this for? Or why are we doing it this way? Or can I throw an idea out to you? And then now you come to them and say, or like now you start to see that change.